The one thing that made the character of Ghost Rider truly appeal to Nicolas Cage was his ability to instantly grow his hair back after those fiery transformations of his. A power that would save Nick so much time in preparing for roles. While Sony's ambitions for a Spider-Man universe of their own may have died on the big screen, the SSU is still alive and well on the small screen thanks to Prime Video, where Nicolas Cage is set to headline his first TV show as the live-action incarnation of his 30s-era web-slinger from the animated Spider-Verse movies in the superhero streaming series Spider-Noir. Just as this summer's new Spider-Man movie is set to be a much-needed hit for both Sony and Marvel, and Nicolas Cage has recently been announced to return for future sequels to both Lord of War and Longlegs. But back in 2012, when the MCU was still finding its legs, and Nicolas Cage's career was on its last legs, Sony would give audiences the sequel nobody asked for to the pre-MCU Marvel movie that not many people liked, with Nic Cage as Johnny Blaze brought out of hiding in rural Romania by a pre-stardom Idris Elba as a booze-swilling monk who needs Johnny to unleash his inner writer so as to save a little boy who is secretly the son of Ghost Rider's satanic boss, now played by Kieran Hines instead of Peter Fonda, and with the first film's director now being replaced by the guys who gave us the guilty pleasure classics Crank and its sequel High Voltage. Sadly, with their plans for an R rating being dimmed down by the studio to the first film's PG-13, Spirit of Vengeance feels more like an act of vengeance against the comic book fans who were expecting a vast improvement over its mediocre predecessor, but instead got a shoddy-looking and generic mess that wasted the talents of everyone involved, especially the bald and bored-looking Christopher Lambert, looking as if Lord Raiden had gotten his head shaved off and his face drawn on by his infant children while he was asleep. Now let us head back to 2022 for my review on what is Ghost Rider's last movie appearance to date. That is, unless Ryan Gosling's rejected plans to become the MCU's Ghost Rider do actually become a reality. And they very well might, considering that Ryan is married to Ghost Rider's old girlfriend. Yes! I'm Jesse Shade, and on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network, let us begin scraping at the door! And flame on into this soul-snatching episode of Awfully Good Movies. The latest Spider-Man movie proved to skeptical audiences that the MCU could peacefully coexist alongside Sony's own universe of Spider-Man characters. So what better time to release the long-delayed debut of Jared Leto as the genius doctor turned living vampire known as Morbius. And yes, this movie has not exactly gotten glowing notices from critics or audiences, but much like the Venom movies, it's making enough money to help Sony compete and collaborate with Marvel Studios on its own Spider-Verse, and hopefully explain what that Michael Keaton cameo was all about. But there was a time not too long ago when Sony was adamant about keeping its Marvel properties from going back into Disney's hands. And this is how we got Nicolas Cage returning in the role of Ghost Rider in 2012's Spirit of Vengeance. Finally, after 8 years of reviewing bad movies for this show, I'm reviewing a movie starring the king of awfully goodness, Nicolas goddamn Cage.
Nic Cage,
who before his acclaimed performance as Nic Cage in the upcoming meta-comedy The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, was struggling to stay afloat amongst his growing debts to the IRS. And although his last turn as the reckless stunt performer Johnny Blaze, who becomes the demonic bounty hunter Ghost Rider, wasn't exactly a runaway success, it was enough of a hit to merit production on a follow-up that replaced Daredevil director Mark Steven Johnson with the directing duo of Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, who'd previously made the delightfully insane Crank films with Jason Statham. These two men directed movies in the same way that Nicolas Cage performs roles. So surely teaming these guys up would make for a far more badass Ghost Rider movie with a hard R rating. Oh wait, this is Sony and producer Avi Arad that we're talking about here. So of course they forced a PG-13 rating onto this sequel and ended up being met with far less box office than the first flick, and even worse reviews. And although Nicolas Cage would survive the next decade of straight-to-red-box action schlock, Neveldine and Taylor have yet to make another movie together since, and Ghost Rider's rights would revert back to Marvel, who took him back to the small screen on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But as someone who was not a fan of the first Ghost Rider, I'm finally going to see why Spirit of Vengeance botched its chance to redeem a beloved Marvel antihero and further the careers of a promising directing duo. By the way, yes, I have heard the tragic news about Bruce Willis's retirement, and yes, I disavow all the jokes I've recently made about his latest VOD movies. So I shall keep the jokes toward Nic Cage's own career troubles to a respectful degree here. However, my jokes about Steven Seagal will proceed as usual, as he's officially now an enemy of the United States, and the only excuse he has for making so many shitty action movies is being a fat rapist piece of shit. Thanks for watching Awfully Good Movies. If you enjoy our shows, please subscribe to our channel right now, like this video, and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes up. Now, back to the show. If you want to feel like Ghost Rider yourself, then pour some scorpion pepper sauce into your Bloody Mary and fire away at the awfully good drinking game. Take a double shot when the title card announces one of the 2 locations this film takes place in, as we open in Romania on a motorcycle driving over to Princess Peach's condemned castle and being ridden by Idris Elba, who in addition to helping this episode tie into a 3rd recently released movie, plays the role of Moreau, a French monk who trades in his fellow priest's burlap robes for a badass leather duster and a motorcycle to track down and kill the devil's thugs who want to capture a little boy named Danny and his mom Nadia from the safety of his monastery/secret command center.
The devil himself wants this child. There is only one place that is safe, that is the sanctuary.
You do enjoy your wine, Moreau.
12 seconds later.
Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel close down the surface! Evacuate the scene!
I'm sorry, why are we even bothering with Ghost Rider in this movie when Idris Elba has already out-badassed him in the first 3 minutes? He's working for a secret organization of cybermonks to kick the asses of the devil's goons. He's able to overcome his frequent drinking habit to leap downstairs like a cat, as if his roles in The Dark Tower and Cats were combined. And he's able to shoot out the tires of a car full of goons right as he crashes from his motorcycle.
Truly, Idris Elba is the Black Superman.
And he's got the same eye contacts he wore as Heimdall, so maybe the same character? Nicolas Cage possibly confirmed for MCU?
I just wish we could see Peter!
Shut the fuck up, man! Shut up!
Speaking of Cage, we cut to him narrating his tragic backstory of the previous film, yet not showing a single frame of footage from the first movie. There's no mention of Eva Mendes as his childhood girlfriend turned reporter. The late great Peter Fonda is replaced in the role of Ghost Rider's demonic benefactor, Rourke, by the actor who survived drowning in black acid from my last reviewed movie, Kieran Hines. And Johnny Blaze is seen showing his bare ass during one of his big stunts.
Kind of funny. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
I honestly prefer the corny backstory from the first movie being replaced by this comic book looking flashback, even if the animators forgot to draw some hair for Johnny Blaze. Do they know how sensitive the star of this movie is about his thinning hairline? We find Johnny waking up in his new home in Romania, where he's moved Incredible Hulk style to keep his alter ego from being unleashed, and also seems to have left behind his shaky southern accent from that first movie.
I'm his bounty hunter, but it only happens at night. But you did something you wouldn't want the writer to see.
Who are you? My name is Moreau. My brothers are dead, as should I be, if not for the intervention of God. And you are John Blaze.
I did not just edit that myself, folks. That was really a 3-second shot of Idris Elba upside down in a tree while the French national anthem plays distantly in the background. From the guys that brought you Crank, ladies and gentlemen, a film whose sequel featured David Carradine in his final theatrical role as a yellow-faced Chinese pervert. Anywho, back to Moreau enlisting Johnny Blaze from exile to save this little boy and his single mother from being caught by her sleazy ex-boyfriend Ray Kerrigan, played by Johnny Whitworth.
I'm the people after you.
Who plans to hand the boy over to Johnny's demon boss and have him take over the child's body. with Moreau promising to reward Blaze by exorcising his body of the Ghost Rider.
Let the rider follow his stench. He will lead you to the boy.
We are prepared to give to you the one thing you want most of this world,
And we will lift your curse.
Oh my god, you're telling me that is the best French accent that you can do? Come on, you sound like the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast.
This man that you met years ago that put the curse on you.
Look, come back to my trailer after filming today, dude. Me and Jared Leto would teach you our course on proper accent work.
I'll start getting confused about when I'm supposed to come in. And that, in a concert hall, would be a disaster.
So Johnny starts to transform yet again in one of the few aspects that the first movie got right, with Cage laughing maniacally as he ripped the flesh off of his flaming bones. Too bad the best effect we can afford here is Cage suddenly having creepypasta eyes and bursting into flame off screen to again become the Ghost Rider. Although the cheap rubber-looking CGI skull of the first movie gets a superior upgrade here. I love the charred look this skull has now, and that Nic Cage provides the motion capture and voice for Ghost Rider this time, instead of the non-Nicolas Cage actor they got last time to recite his painfully bad death quips.
Mercy. Sorry. All out of mercy.
Mercy?
With the writer's dialogue now limited to 1 or 2 words at a time.
Does it hurt?
And Nicolas utilizing his controversial acting technique he calls nouveau shamanic.
That you've referred to as nouveau shamanic, is that correct?
Which Mr. Cage can explain here far better than I can.
All actors really hail from the early medicine men and the shaman, where they would put on masks and act out and find answers to questions. Today you're called psychotic if you do that. So what I would do is I'd put on Afro-Caribbean paint, like a white and black paint, and black out my eyes so I look like this sort of Afro-Caribbean voodoo icon. I would sew in
Bits of Egyptian artifacts that were thousands of years old into my costume and gather some
onyx or tourmaline or something that was meant to have vibrations.
Hit me again with another one of them rocks. It's my lucky crack pipe.
Who knows if it works or doesn't, but
Trick my mind into believing I was this character from another dimension. So I projected this aura of horror.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Which created fear in my fellow actors, which then inspired me to believe I really was this character.
Not even Jared Leto can live up to the sheer genius of this acting method. Why do you people think Daniel Day-Lewis retired from acting so early? Let's see him sew a bunch of magic doodads into a mocap suit so that he can play the digitally animated role of Abra Hulk Lincoln.
Now!
That being said, this new portrayal of Ghost Rider is as much of an ineffectual character as he was last time. Why is he now wobbling around like someone in Mortal Kombat before they get fatality'd, then approaching this bad guy to take back the mustache he stole from Sam Elliott in the first movie, and inspecting his head the same way my dad inspects melons at the grocery store before he proceeds to shaky cam the man to death?
Slit those now.
And it appears our lead superhero has been knocked out cold by a grenade's fiery blast.
Get some.
Despite the fact he's a hellish demon who's made of fire himself. Look folks, we'll refund all of your tickets at the door. Just get the fuck out of the theater. So little Danny is now in the grasp of his mother's ex-boyfriend, so that Rourke can transfer his soul into him, as one of the many bodies that Mephistopheles has inhabited over the years.
Passes on from body to body, waiting for the perfect fit.
Jerry Springer jokes. They're just as stale in 2012 as they were back when Jerry Springer was still considered a thing. So after Rourke casts a spell over the boy that prevents Ghost Rider from using his powers to track down and rescue him,
He still may be able to find you, so I suggest you keep moving.
Johnny Blaze must break out of the hospital with Eva Mendes over here, right after awkwardly hitting on a Romanian nurse who is old enough to be one of Nicholas's own children.
The police want to talk to you when you wake up.
No! No!
Morphine. 2I morphine. You got any morphine? Dilaudid. Valium. What do you got?
Quick, somebody grab Nick's stash of high-grade horse tranquilizers before he ends up being some guy on the sidewalk until he...
Pissed blood!
After all, it's that crazy Cage quirkiness which helped make the last film somewhat enjoyable.
You touch the Carpenters or that chimp video again, and we got a scrap on our hands.
But little of that late-stage Elvis Presley energy is to be found in Cage's reprisal of the role, as a far too serious script co-written by Dark Knight and Blade co-writer David S. Goyer limits the amount of crazy that either Nic Cage or Neveldine/Taylor can bring to this movie. Aside from Neveldine and Taylor's signature shaky camera work and sped-up editing that serves as much of a purpose as when it was used in fucking Morbius.
Okay, this opening scene should be in fast motion. Everybody likes that because it looks funny.
Mr. Smith is telling you Washington, he's really honest. That could be bad news for us corrupt politicians. Well, even if he is, big deal. How do you think? Somebody doesn't play ball, we'll teach him a thing or two, if you know what I mean.
I just can't believe that this cheap-looking movie was released the same year as the first Avengers, although it was under the same Marvel Knights brand as the future cult classic Punisher Warzone. That movie at least went balls out with the R rating for a Marvel character who deserved one, although the film does pick up whenever Nic Cage unleashes the crazy.
When we get where we're going, the writer's going to come out. There's no reason, no conscience, just hunger.
I'm not afraid of you.
You should be.
As he interrogates Nadia's former pimp like he's reprising the role of Bad Lieutenant. He even has the same hair from that movie, which is at least an improvement over the last film's Herman Munster hairpiece.
You're a bad man! And this thing, the writer, he feeds on them and he's hungry. He's scraping at the door! Scraping at the door!
I projected this aura of horror.
I'm gonna let him out. You'll tell me why would he just take it so? The soul's still dancing.
Port of Call, the worst Marvel timeline. Nothing sums up Nicolas Cage's entire career better than the sight of him riding atop Ghost Rider's flaming motorbike and having his face distorted by TikTok filters, which is what happens when Nic Cage shares his ayahuasca-infused smoothie with the film's CGI artist. Then proceeding to survive the blast from another of Kerrigan's slug throwers and recreating his favorite Nine Inch Nails music video before he proceeds to eat the bullets from their Uzis and vomit the molten bullets back onto the bad guys' faces. And for the coup de grace, hops into a big-ass mining machine to transform this bitch into what might be the idea that will save the Texas Chainsaw franchise once and for all. But then this demon boy unleashes the powers of the poster to the Danny Boyle family film Millions, and the Ghost Rider is taken out of commission until the last 12 minutes.
So, that happened.
Indeed, that did happen, Mr. Cage. Because with the film forced to shoot overseas on a far cheaper budget than the first one, Johnny lets the writer rest so he can bond Terminator 2 style with little Danny, and take him for a bike ride despite endangering the life of the boy on whose existence lies the fate of the world.
Hey, what if you have to pee while you're on fire?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower.
Hey, that joke was kinda funny. When I first saw it in the trailer for this film, which played before every movie at my local theater for 2 solid months. Thankfully, Idris Elba rides back into the film so that Moreau can take Johnny and the boy into Turkey to meet with a fellow monk of his named Methodius, played by none other than Christopher Lambert in his first American theatrical film role since the last failed Highlander sequel 12 years prior. With Lambert preparing for the part by shaving his head and wearing this liar liar blue pen makeup all throughout filming, on top of 3 months of sword training, despite him only holding a sword once, in what is barely over 5 minutes of screen time. Why are we wasting money on training an actor to sword fight, despite his most well-known role already having taught him the sword fight, when we could spend it on having this movie filmed somewhere else that isn't a dirty mud hut in the middle of Boga, Turkestan?
What's up? You're safe here. We made it. It'll be alright.
Why can't he come with us? No!
That's my purse! I don't know you!
So Moreau tells Blaze about the Ghost Rider's former life as an angelic spirit of justice named Zarathos, not to be confused with the villain from Mr. Nanny.
Thanatos! Oh my God!
who was dragged to hell by demons and corrupted by Michael Bay's collection of stock footage to become the demented spirit of vengeance that we know Ghost Rider as today.
The spirit of vengeance, fighting fire with fire.
He became the spirit of vengeance.
Oh, I'm sorry. For our French viewers, that is actually pronounced vengeance. Thanks for correcting us, Idris. I knew that hiring that voodoo lady from Zombie Nightmare to be his accent coach was a great idea.
Feel again the worm. I don't want to feel again the worm.
Much like Superman 2 and Spider-Man 2 before him, Ghost Rider 2 wants his superpowers removed from his body to live a normal life again.
My dad, I didn't do it for him. I made the deal for me. I couldn't let him go.
Despite now living in a Romanian shotgun shack, millions of miles away from his old life of million-dollar endorsements and screaming crowds he once had in America. Oh well, at least Johnny has entered the cave of missing J.J. Abrams' lens flares to undergo a spirit quest that finally purges the Rider from his body.
Merry Christmas, you asshole!
What the fuck? Did he turn into Ant-Man for a second there? And to think that the directors of Crank can provide at least one cool visual backdrop here. A hellish landscape, a groovy LSD trip, biling fucking Jason Statham on top of a horse? Give us something here, guys. Anything! Just as Johnny is happily free of his inner demon once and for all, he discovers that Methodius and his monks are plotting to kill this little boy so that the risk of Satan possessing the body of his illegitimate son is permanently gone.
Power will always be inside him. This child must be destroyed. You might have protested while the child was being conceived. Now, it is too late.
Put Mr. Elba in a motion capture catsuit alongside Taylor Swift, and have Mr. Cage encased in the carbonite red box until his debts to the IRS are paid in full. By the way, our old friend Ray Kerrigan has made a deal with Rourke that's transformed him into another demonic bounty hunter nicknamed Blackout.
You're a little less than alive now. But also more!
Whose powers of decaying whoever and whatever he touches with his fingers are not actually the powers of Blackout from the Ghost Rider comics. In fact, the screenwriters say they wedged Blackout into this movie only because they thought he looked cool. Not only does he basically have the same powers as Wes Bentley's emo bitch villain from the last movie, but he looks like he should be shopping alongside him at Hot Topic. Anyway, Blackout kills off all these monks.
Peace, brother.
From here.
So now little Danny is delivered by Blackout into the hands of Rourke, just as the latest body he's taken over is starting to decay from age, and making Kieran Hines look like the father of Colin Farrell's Penguin.
You wanted to know why I look this way? Think of the flamethrower.
Look, unless this fire piss is leading to an ending where Ghost Rider and Rick Dalton play crossing swords together, then how about we let Idris Elba liven up this flick instead by forming some kind of the Suicide Squad with Nadia and the newly powerless Johnny.
Danny's the one good thing I ever did.
That being the case, we had better make sure he doesn't turn out to be the Antichrist.
Nic Cage.
Even in this unwritten part, Elba exudes as much chemistry as Cage does when they share the screen together, as he swigs from a jug of wine with Johnny like the French stereotype that he is.
Not bad.
It might be good on a salad.
Before he and Johnny bust in on the ceremony of Rourke transferring Mephisto's spirit into Danny's body in front of a gathering of hood-wearing soldiers of Satan.
Politicians, murderers, people of influence.
Please.
Why are the Benedictine monks trying to do the wave in a Greek amphitheater while watching The Devil and His Son starring in a minimalist stage adaptation of Ghostbusters? And why is Hitler here? Time for Idris to bust in shooting guns while simultaneously reciting Latin prayers.
I kick ass for the Lord!
While Nicolas Cage runs on stage to punch the goddamn devil in his goddamn face.
That felt good.
I thought I warned you before to put the fucking bunny back in the fucking box! But alas, Idris Elba's too brief screen time comes to a close when Blackout takes his soul and Moreau gives him a final epic headbutt.
That's gross.
But before Blackout can next take Johnny's soul, Danny decides to unleash the powers he's got from his demon daddy.
Like father, like son.
Like father, like son.
And vomits Ghost Rider's fiery spirit back into him in what looks like Nicolas Cage's infamous unaired episode of Hot Ones.
What do you personally think of the phrase dramatic comedy, which is often used to describe some of your most beloved films?
And not only does Blackout die not so historic out on this Fury Road,
roadkill,
but the writer also sends his satanic boss back to hell.
Worst fucking deal I ever made.
Damn you, Johnny Blaze, just when I was 49,999 worlds away from paying off Darkseid!
So after what I think is a Wakanda Forever salute, Johnny returns back to his human form and discovers he now has full power over the Rider, now that he's turned back into a blue-flamed spirit of justice.
Did we win?
I'm gonna say yes. Hell yes.
Unfortunately, Sony would say hell no to another Ghost Rider movie. And when the studio that later go on to make Venom Let There Be Carnage, Morbius, and the upcoming Venom and Morbius Go to Vista Del Marbius decides that your franchise is too much for them, then that is saying a hell of a lot.
I'm Cage.
Though Neveldine and Taylor haven't worked together in the decades since, they've each moved on with their own careers, with Brian Taylor reuniting with Cage to make the acclaimed horror comedy Mom and Dad. And to their credit, they do add some explosive style and dark humor you would never see in a Marvel movie nowadays.
You're the devil's baby, mama. Naughty priests.
And when those combine with Cage's real-life love for this character and Elba's badass supporting turn, you end up with a stupidly enjoyable B-movie that's perfect for your Nic Cage marathons, despite a lot of wasted potential. And aside from Into the Spider-Verse, it is the best thing we've got till Mr. Cage one day pops up in the MCU, the DCEU, the SSU, or the WXYZ! Because Nicolas Cage is a multiverse of madness unto himself.
Things just got out of hand.
On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Ghost Rider's Spirit of Vengeance proves that Nic Cage should stick to fighting bounty hunting demon bikers instead of being one himself, and drives Angry at a speed of 7 out of 10. At least it was a better sequel idea than Guarding Test 2. I'm Jesse Shade for JoBlo.com, and thanks again for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the JoBlo Originals channel. Tell all your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all our latest videos. We are an independent company that appreciates all of your support. And wait, Idris also wore these contacts for his part in Cats, right? And Rebel Wilson had an early role in the first Ghost Rider. Have we just confirmed Nicolas Cage for the Cat Cinemautic universe?
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.